Thank you. You have to take this back around. Oh, yeah. What an intimidating introduction.
Let me just take book.
Let me tell you right now, no one can live up to that.
Can I just take protocol and express special thanks to you for your leadership over the years? Colleagues join me for thanking Dr. Rahming, this man first. I just got to say thank you. Can they say thank you?
Wow. That's intimidating. Well, just to turn that back around a bit, I said to my son yesterday, I said, you've never heard me say that there was anybody I wanted to be like. Melvin Rahming is the person I wanted to be like. We're here to celebrate literature, a branch of what we call the arts. That collection of activities through which we step away from what most people call reality to find the truest of our realities. We write and design and paint and sing, first of all, to find ourselves, then to express the self we find, and finally, to establish that self as part of a society. We indulge in the pursuit of the arts to find and share our identity, and to identify and celebrate our community. Art, more than any other device, creates our community. This identity we establish within our community feeds the personal image with which we approach the world, making it the force that controls our social experience. This self-image, as I call it, drives how we speak, how we dress, how we interact with other people, how we seek to shape and reshape our society. I say all this because I wish to make it clear that art is never personal. It is both the result of how we see ourselves in the world we come to and how we choose to shape the world our children come to. The three elements that fashion our self-image, a sense of history, a relationship with the supernatural, and a sense of uniqueness by association, are all driven into our subconscious by the creative expression of artists. As architects and sculptors and painters, we create a built environment that either builds our self-image or it does not. As writers and singers and musicians, we create the ideas that either builds our self-image or they do not. We either reinforce the traditions that underlie the vitality of our society or we don't. Our self-image determines our behavior because as I also like to say, we cannot do what we don't think we are. That said, we must acknowledge the deeper and more urgent search for artists. Before contributing to the identity of the external world, we must first discover our internal world. We must discover ourselves. That is the purpose of each new work by the artist. While community may be the product of the artist's expression, self-discovery is the product of the artistic engagement. That self-discovery informs the expression, which in turn affects the society. The self-discovery of the artist becomes the self-discovery of the whole society. This short talk is about the three stages through which artists and societies go in this cyclical process of self-discovery. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me to participate in this very important event set to deal with the specific issue of the forms of cultural narrative. I believe our language is affected by the ways in which we see ourselves. And that one of the factors affecting the narrative is the stage of self-discovery from which the artist speaks. For example, we all meet ourselves for the first time, somewhere between conception and our arrival into this air-breathing world. Still. I lie still. Still is not my choice. I am simply not aware of motion. There is only presence. My existence is bathed in a kaleidoscope of light, its frequencies painting this new world, its magic pulling me beyond myself. For an eternity, I've drifted afloat in a world defined only by a universal rhythm. Ba-boom, 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 sustaining my effortless existence. With a strange flash of light, the vacuum was filled with the sweetness of breath. The universal rhythm caught inside me, and I have come to rest. Pretty colors beckon to me, dare me to touch them, taste them, smell them. Their touch assures me of my reality. Their taste excites my mouth. I must hold them to my chest as inch by inch by inch I pull this new world into me and make it mine. This early stage of self-discovery is governed by the senses, direct and unedited, untainted by excuses and rationale, agendas and objectives. It is, so to speak, what it is. I was sitting down the other day trying to get some food. The waitress, she was a ugly thing, feeling in an ugly mood. She was cussing left and cussing right, insulting everyone, swearing on the Bible and bragging about her son. She was serving slow as snail. Ain't nothing she served was done. I just couldn't resist the temptation. I asked her what was wrong. She said, "What happened? You ain't never wake up feeling tired, eh?" I got 7 children in my house to feed, a man with his drink and a daughter with his breed, my insurance due since week before last. I ain't talking about renting my stove or the gas. Ain't nothing wrong with money can't fix. But things so tough. And you know black people don't tip. Apart from that, I find. This is the age of a junkanoo driven by raw passion of the drum and cowbell, presented in costumes made from found objects, from newspaper, sponge, primary colored tissue paper, to a banana plant strapped to Arthur's back and flour poured over his head. Fire, drum, and color. This is the age of the prose of Winston Sanders in the Horse Monologue. They were born in a house which was 7 by 11, where the kitchen was the kitchen, and the kitchen was the bedroom with the fridge and the stove, and the kitchen was the kitchen with the big iron bed. Big iron bed. 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 You see, for the child, the mirror in front is the only reality. Remove the mirror and the world is gone. But as it ages, it experiences a world filled with other people. The child is separated from the single mirror of home and travels out into that world. Suddenly there is a hall of mirrors, each reflecting a different side of the growing child, all different, but somehow all the same. The child leaves home and experiences a world of relativity. The street noise shakes my unsteady feet, threatens to blow me away with the cold, unfamiliar wind. The world that gave meaning to my existence has been ripped from my feet and taken away. I cringe from the assault on my senses, afraid to breathe, Light reflected in the indifferent eyes of strangers burn my brain. The smells and tastes in this place are alien invaders forcing themselves into my consciousness, desperate for the safety of home. I seek refuge in a cardboard box at the far end of an alley where I have hidden my memories. And there, with the magnifying glass of nostalgia, I find myself again. In the comfort of my box, I lay down with this magnified image of myself, this edited, pasteurized image with which I must sleep. I hold my memories close to my shivering chest, and their fabricated warmth comforts me. My memories and I discover each other, and I discover myself again. On the second discovery of the self, the senses are not enough. Like two eyes giving a third dimension, or two ears giving stereo sound, images in the mirrors of the outside world invite comparison and give depth to the images of self. Colors now have shades, sounds have nuance, and tastes are seasoned. Smells evoke memories, and even the back of the head is real. In this second stage of self-discovery, I find the me who stands in the hall of mirrors, dressed in nostalgia, with pockets filled with memories. Like Eric Mins from his perch in Toronto, I want a foxhill gal when I get lonely. I want a foxhill gal every time I sing. I want to lose my heart to a gal from the eastern part. When I get married, she's the one who can wear my ring. Amen. Almighty Sparrow. This Englishman was teaching me how to live socially. This English bloke was teaching me how to live socially. He said, in the world of high society, there's never anything like petty jealousy. If your wife you love a man, or a man love your wife, such are the ethics of social life. I say, I agree that time, if you see how he madam gazing at me. My wife is a blight, he wife look alright, and enjoying society tonight. This stage produces Junkanoo parades that use new technology to celebrate the discovery of faraway places, like ancient Africa, or the Orient, or American Indian tribes. Poetry that remembers history or heroism. Paintings that seek to share emotion, like the works of Max Taylor and Antonio Roberts. I know great-great-grandpa was a slave. I ain't like it, but it's so. But even slaves got history too. And I have a right to know what tribe I come from, where they live, what was their family name. I know that about the master. The slave deserved the same. Our history ain't started here late. We wasn't always slaves. And what I wouldn't give to know how my folks used to live before the trip from Africa, before the drumbeat changed, before the old man cried for loss, before the trees were strange. I know all about king and queen, and who succeeded the throne. I study English Civil War just like it was my own, and I could trace some English name back to the Norman War. Yet still ain't no one want me to ask what was my name before the chasing and the catching and the selling without shame. That ain't too much to ask for, so I just want to know my name. Finally, there is the coming home stage of self-discovery. Finally, all grown up, the self comes home and celebrates itself. Home. I come home. The sound of birds knowing where to end their flight. The sound of air expelled from lungs as a tired body comes to rest. The sound of refuge from uncertainty. Home. I come home. I step into my father's footprint and I stand firm. My arms reach out and return to me filled with family. that choir of hearts vibrating to the same beat. My tongue sings the language for which it was made. With my eyes closed and feeling safe again, I gaze at 1,000 faces shaped from the same past. I come home. My mind opens like a window to my soul and gently breathes in a world of newfound beauty. The drums which once made my heart stop now hold the planets in their place. The colors with which I once splashed my world carelessly are now music that make my imagination dance. I celebrate a rediscovery of a me that hid itself from the world until I came home. This is the time of celebration. With the broad view of the world, I find a home again. It is more beautiful than I can ever remember, and I must celebrate my good fortune. This is the time for the National Youth Choir to sing Long Island Breeze and classical harmonies. A time for Chris Justilian's Colors Junkanoo Troupe to mount the stage. A time for the exploratory but extremely confident work of John Cox. It is time to celebrate the self unreservedly. Bahamian. Just a name and a sound sometimes handed around by jokers and clowns seeking fame. But it's also a claim to my past and my name. And I shout without shame, I am a Bahamian. Born in this land without choice, among people without choice. Still, I chose as a man to love my childhood land with and for my life. So when I claim my name, I claim a love so fierce, it demands total commitment or silent withdrawal, and promises that the condition of national brotherhood is non-negotiable. For strangers see my land, aisles of palm trees in the sand, a place to buy, a place for fun, a place that pleases everyone. But this is my home, and I claim the name Rahming. Thank you.